think that had rational basis.
What's
Since
happening here?
yes, it is or it isn't.
It's taking me time to get ready. Nothing's happening.
Well,
Everything.
I don't know.
Good morning, everybody. As we go to the learn some Chasidus, some Tanay today. We're holding in chapter 18, I believe, in Tanay. We're still stuck in that chapter,
The last,
and we will go on.
the last column.
What page?
By the way, I did fix the little dots because I couldn't see them without it being printed.
Yes.
So I gave you
What page? What page?
78.
Thank you.
So, the Rebbe is explaining over here the concept of Chokhmah, the concept of wisdom, which when a person comprehends the aspect of wisdom, he will comprehend that everything that he knows, that there's something that is greater, there's something that is more powerful, there's something that's more hidden than the wisdom that he comprehends in his life. Here on this little warm. So, and all to that, but today in the Tanya, if you were with us in the morning, today in the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says the statement in the Mishnah in the Pirkei Avos, ethics of the Father, it says that a person should be nothing. He should be a shval ruach. He should be humbled that he's nothing before any other human being. Before any human being. That means the Mishnah tells us that a person has to feel that he's nothing, even for somebody that he thinks is Kalsha B'Kalim, is the most sinner of the Jewish nation. He is nothing in comparison. He's still nothing. He's lower than him. The question the Alter Rebbe says, how is that possible? If I know that another person is a big sinner, and I am not such a big sinner, so why am I supposed to be lower than him? And the Alter Rebbe answered that by another statement of our fathers. It says, don't judge a person until you come to his place, his place. That means every person has situations in this world. Every person, God's an equal opportunity challenge giver. And he gives every person his challenges in life. And he gives every person his struggles. And therefore, just like God gave me struggles, he gave you struggles. And I have to not judge you when you fall through your struggles. Because it could be, your situation brings about that you are falling through your struggles. You don't have the capability to overcome your struggles. And that is something that I have to have compassion about, and I have to have understanding that not everybody will always overcome their struggles. Struggles are not an easy thing to overcome. And you might fall through your struggles in life. Why? Because you're not connected to Chachma. Not everybody has the capability to reach up to the level of wisdom. He has Bina. He has his understanding, but he doesn't have Chachma. You see in this week's Parsha, Nashi actually says it today in Chumash also. The Abish says, I give Chachma to those who have Chachma. That means if a person tries Chachma, he tries to go into the level of wisdom, the Abish gives him wisdom. Because wisdom is a gift to begin with. To be able to go above one's understanding is a gift. Very hard to go above the way he understands things, the way he's been brought up, the way he's been wired, whatever you want to call it, the way he's been wired, the way he's been told, the way he has told himself or somebody else told him, whatever, it's very hard to go above one's understanding. But the Eibishter gave us wisdom. And if God gave us wisdom, God wants us to go above our understanding. And that's why the Abisha says, God, in this week's parasha, God says, I've given wisdom to those that have wisdom. If you have no wisdom, how are you supposed to get it? How are you supposed to acquire wisdom? Person that has wisdom, that has the capability to go beyond the box, to go above, and to realize that it's more than my understanding, and maybe there's greater things out there. That's why it says, Ezul Chacham, who is a wise man who learns from everybody. Right? We can even learn one of the Yom Yoms, we can learn from a Ganef. We can learn 7 things even from a thief. Because that's a Chacham. A Chacham is somebody who doesn't judge anybody, is not judgmental, because when he's judgmental, that's his understanding. He has decided that I can be judgmental on somebody else. I can pass judgment on somebody else. I understand the situation, and I can say that it's A, it's B. I understand the situation. A person who has wisdom says, I don't understand the situation. The person that's in Chasidus himself doesn't understand the situation.
The person who has wisdom doesn't
And
understand.
I'm saying, the person that has wisdom doesn't understand the situation.
Does.
Even his own situation.
Does?
Does. He has the capability to understand the situation. That's looking at yourself from above. You have a situation. If you have wisdom, you can look at your situation objectively.
Right. I did.
That's why the Rebbe last in the class that we gave was the Rebbe I say, go away from your issue. When you walk away from the issue, maybe you can see the thing more objectively. When you're in your understanding of the issue, then you're subjective to your own understanding. We're subjective to what we think is our understanding. We have to have the capability to be objective to ourselves. We have to be able to tell it. We cannot be objective about ourselves. How can we be objective about somebody else? To be objective about yourself is to go into your own chachma, which is to look up the thing above yourself. That's what chachma. Chachma tells you, look at the thing above yourself. Don't look at the thing the way you understand it. Look at the thing a little bit objective, as somebody else, being a second person. Be a second person. Be a second person. Go up to wisdom, your own wisdom. Maybe then you can look at yourself in a different way. Yeah, so it's very difficult to see the light in the forest. You have to go above the forest. You have to go above yourself to look at the forest from above. To look at the situation from above.
That's mindfulness.
Right? But it's chachma. Because understanding, it's already myself. I can't get out of myself.
Well,
And it's very difficult to help myself within myself. Because again, I'm totally cannot be objective. I'm totally subjective. So the truth is, even when it comes to somebody else, I'm subjective. I want to put the other guy down for it. I want to judge another person for my own personal gains. So I'll put the other person down because again, I'm in my understanding. David says, look in the chachma. Look with your wisdom. Be objective. And if you're objective, you would be the person who says, you know what? Maybe the other person, I'm not talking about yourself. Don't do this to yourself. That's the worst thing you can do to yourself. You should say on somebody else. That's what the Frierdiker Rebbe said. You have a right eye for somebody else. You have a left eye for yourself. Stop. You should be judgmental a little bit on yourself. Be objective about yourself. Stop hiding and denying and falling into your own stupidity over and over again. You got to stop it. You got to be a little bit intellectual. You got to have a little bit of wisdom-like. Go above yourself and realize that the things that need to be changed. But to somebody else, I should also be objective. Maybe the situation has forced him in this situation. Maybe his situation. He cannot overcome his situation. He can't overcome his challenge. Can't overcome his challenge. Some people cannot overcome themselves. To their own detriment, they can't overcome themselves. Yeah. So that's the power. If we understand the power of Chachma, which the Eibishter gave each and every one of us wisdom, which God gave each and every one of us. God gave us an unbelievable gift. Because Chachma is a gift. Understanding is not a gift, it's the way I understand things. And there are many reasons why I understand certain things a certain way. It's my upbringing, it's my teaching, it's my environment. A lot of things create my understanding, the way I understand something. And but the Eibishter gave us Chachma, he gave us a gift. He gave us a gift, the concept of wisdom. And wisdom gives us the capability to look at things from like a second person. To be objective as a second person. That can tell yourself, you know what? You might understand it this way, but it's wrong. It's also because your environment or the way you were taught or the way somebody told you, it's not correct. It's incorrect. And I got to stop it. And now figure out a way how to stop it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna learn. Yeah, you ready? You learn a mime of the Rebbe, like yesterday. You learn a mime of the Rebbe. What's the beauty of learning a mime of the Rebbe? What's the beauty of learning like this? Because he opens up channels for you. You see things you never ever thought about. Right? You learn a discourse of the Rebbe, it opens up your mind to things you never heard about, maybe things you never thought about. So he gives you these channels, but ultimately, so he's opening up chachma to you. So he's opening up channels of wisdom. If you want to connect to these channels of wisdom, good. If you don't, good too. Life goes on, good too. The Alter Rebbe, we learned to mind with the Alter Rebbe yesterday. The Alter Rebbe says, I'm going to give you a channel. I'm going to open up a channel for you. You can start thinking in a whole different light. You can start looking at the world and looking at yourself in a total different reality.
You got to look at the big picture.
Yeah, but your own big picture. I mean, not the big picture, the real picture. We're looking at a fake picture. So we need it's a whole different picture. It's a total different picture. And the Alter Rebbe explained yesterday something so beautiful, the concept of joy in a mitzvah. Why you should have joy in a mitzvah. And it's truly opens up a whole different avenue to everybody who wants to learn, wants to open up to Chachma. That's why Torah is considered Chachma. So here the Alter Rebbe is going to teach you something, and he's giving you an avenue, not that you should acquire somebody else's wisdom. You should acquire your own wisdom. You should acquire your own wisdom. You should be objective. It's very hard for somebody else to be objective to you. Most times you take it wrong, their objectivity. And they say you say, oh, you don't understand me, you don't comprehend me, all these excuses. why you don't want to accept anybody else's statement. And it might be true. They don't understand you. That's a true statement. That's nothing to do with the fact that needs to be changed. But we again rationalize why we're not going to change because you don't understand me. Like that's a reason why I shouldn't change. Even though I know that I have to change, but you cannot tell me to change. And now I'm going to show you I'm not going to change. And that's why the Alter Rebbe says, Chasidus demands a person to look at himself. Person should look at himself, his own wisdom, to realize that he has the capability to become holier. He has the capability in himself to become better. It's Chachma, his own wisdom gives him that capacity, that capability. Let's go. Ready? That's what we're holding now. The left column, yeah?
Right column.
The left column or the right column?
Right column. Yeah, toward the end.
Oh, towards the end already?
Yeah.
Okay, we're all there. I don't know.
Top of the page.
Top of the page. We're going to start in the middle of a paragraph?
More or less.
No, we have to go a little bit back. We can't start in the middle of a paragraph.
Right.
We're going to go start a little bit back, right? Okay. The simple, we go to the left column. The left column, the simple believes that everything but the prudent man understands. With regard to the Holy One, blessed be he was beyond intelligence, knowledge, and who can be no way be comprehended by any thought. All men are like fools in his presence, blessed be. As written, I am a bore, I'm an empty person. and I did not understand like an animal I was with you. Yet I am always with you. Meaning, because I'm a bore, because a person realized that wisdom is a gift from heaven. Wisdom is not something that I should have wisdom. Wisdom is a gift from heaven. So to God that this gift, I'm nothing. To God, I'm a stupid person. Without God's gift of wisdom, what am I? I'm nothing. So therefore, who can have the concept of ego to God? Maybe I got to the ego to somebody else, but who can have the concept of ego to God? To God, I have to realize that the Abishta gave me a capability to have wisdom, and that's simply a gift. And therefore, without this wisdom, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. Goodness.
I'm good.
Therefore, even the most worthless of transgressors of Israel, in a majority of cases, sacrifice their lives to sanctity of God's name. That's it. Even the most, why? Because ultimately, a yid is connected, knows the truth. And when push comes to shove, he's not gonna go against God's will. Push comes to shove, he's going to stand up and do what is right. Why? Because until everything goes through his understanding, he cannot change. When he's faced with the reality that, my friend, I've hit bottom, and I bullshit, my understanding took me to the wrong places. My understanding brought me to the negative world. That's the great understanding. Where did it bring me to? Garnished. Brought me nowhere. All my understanding, all my great understanding brought me nowhere.
That's rationalization.
Yeah, but when you rationalize to get to? Nothing.
Nothing.
Garnished. That's it. So sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to realize that, you know what? All your understanding brings you nothing. The Eibishter gave us chachma to give us freedom. God gave you wisdom to have freedom, to be light, to be bending, to be giving, to be receiving. And when you become, your understanding gets stuck in the mud, then you cannot give, you cannot receive, you're miserable, making everybody else miserable, and that's your life. That has turned your life. And when people tell you that, you get insulted. Eibishter gave you chachma, so you should be free. You should have self-control. You should be objective about yourself. Stop being so miserable. Whatever little knowledge they do possess, they do not dwell therein. That's the problem. They have some people that have to hit bottom to their knowledge to they wake up and they say, wow, I got to change my understanding. So therefore, every human being has knowledge. It's a sad thing that they have to come to Mesiras Nefesh to reveal that knowledge. We have to come to a tragedy to have unity. If we had knowledge, we'd be objective and everybody would have unity. Why don't we have unity? Because everything's based on understanding. You're not part of my group.
Ego.
You're not part of my group. You're not part of my understanding. You don't understand me. How am I supposed to be united with you if you don't understand me? So that's it. We're a bunch of people that have understanding of each other. Those who understand me are part of my group. Those that don't understand me out of my group, I might have a very small group. It might be me myself. It's good enough. That's it. Doesn't matter. Because it's basically my group. So my group is myself. The way nobody understands me. And I don't understand myself either, but whatever, the understanding of myself. And therefore, I'm the group. And I'm shocked that nobody likes me. Nobody wants to have anything to do with me. Nobody likes me. It's like a shocking. Why is that possible? How I'm such a great guy? Why is that? Why? Why?
Objective.
Why? Everybody part of my group. Everybody should be part of my group. We should all be of my understanding. Everybody should be like me, and then we'll be a great group. We call the misery group, and everybody will be miserable like me. And no, nobody wants to be. It says like misery loves company. Happiness has company. Misery loves company.
Oh, that's cool.
Because they want more miserable people. So therefore it's looking, who could be in my company? Who wants to be miserable like me? Who wants to come to the misery of life? Happiness doesn't have to, happiness attracts company. Everybody wants to be near a happy person.
That's right.
Why not? It's happiness. We want to be near a happy person.
Good energy.
Good energy, 100%. So therefore, what gives us happiness? The guy might say, why are you happy for? Crazy, things are not good. Why are you happy? Because a happy person is not happiness what happens right now. A happy person has an objective view. He has betachan the Eibush. He has betachan, and he's happy because he's happy. I don't have to give you a reason why I'm happy. I'm happy because that's who I am. I'm a happy person. I want to be a happy person. I want to be a happy, healthy person. Why would I want to be unhappy? Why would I want to be miserable? Why do I want to make other people miserable? That's what it says, v'simach. It says, when is the true happiness? Is not when you're happy or I'm happy. When I make others happy. It's about making somebody else happy. If I'm happy myself, and everybody else is miserable about me, so that's not happiness. Happiness attraction. Happiness is an attraction. So a person, chesed and ava and simcha, all go together. Chesed, kindness, ava, love, simcha, joy, all goes together. Because it's all the concept of attraction. Simcha is an attraction, happy love is attraction, and chesed, kindness is attraction. All about concept of being attractive and attracting. That's why the Rebbe Rashab, he asked him, what's a chassid? A chassid is a lamplighter. So the chassid is a lamplighter. A chassid lights the light for others. You can't light the light for others. You don't light it for yourself. But you have to do it. But you need your light is not for yourself. It's not about your happiness. It's about our happiness. It's a simple analogy. Tzaddik and pelts, right? Tzaddik and pelts. You have the guy who's cold. Winter in Florida. We all got cold. You can wear a warm garment, or you can put on a fire. And when you're putting on a fire is you get happy and other people get happy. Other people are warm. Or you put on a warm coat is you get warm. The guy sitting next to you is freezing.
I heard that story 400 times.
That's it. You can never enough to hear that story. I've heard it 5 million times. That story. Ultimately, after a couple of millions, it sinks in. Don't put on a tzaddik and pelts. Don't put on your own warm coat. Make a flame. Make a fire. Create a warmth in the room. Create an environment. Did you create an environment? That's a good question. Did you create an environment, or you created your own environment? Did you create an environment that the people around you are enjoying you? Right? This is forever knowledge. They do possess. They do dwell in Theron, and so it gives. They give up their lives by reason of any knowledge and contemplation, because that's what ultimately a yid is Mesiras Nefesh. That's what we all have, the DNA of Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice. Because when it comes to push to shove, then we go above now. Suddenly we become objective. Suddenly we forget about reasoning, about understanding. Suddenly we say, you know what, we're going to go above our understanding. What happened to all the understanding? What happened this night? Nobody understands you and God doesn't understand you. And everything has to go according to the way I understand. What happened to all that? It all went out the window. Rather, do they suffer without any knowledge? They suffer matridom. So Yidden went to Mesiras Nefesh. Would make difference they were religious or not religious. But as if they were absolutely impossible to renounce the one God without any reason or hesitation whatsoever. This is because the one God illuminated and animated the entire nefesh through being clothed in the faculty of Chachma. Suddenly they cut to that Chachma. Suddenly they came to their wisdom. They've been living a life of understanding their whole life. And suddenly when the push comes to shove, they touched their wisdom. They touched the true knowledge, the true wisdom. And suddenly now they realize, you know what? That I'm a Yid. Not because I understand that I'm a Jew. Not that because what I do, I don't do. I'm a Jew because I'm a Jew. And therefore, I cannot break this bond that I don't understand. Which is beyond any graspable understanding, knowledge, or intelligence. And here we finish chapter 18. Baruch Hashem.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Should we make us see him?
No, we're going to go straight to chapter 19. Let's elucidate this further. After that, Big says it's necessary to clarify the meaning of the verse. We have a verse, it says, Hinei Hashem Nishmasod. It says, the candle of God is the soul of man. Hinei Hashem Nishmasod. The candle of God is the soul of man. So it's a verse in Proverbs. Hinei Hashem Nishmasod. This verse has been interpreted and interpreted and interpreted. This is one of the whole Proverbs has been interpreted and interpreted and interpreted. This is one of the classical verses of Proverbs, Kelos, where he says, "Hinei Hashem Nishmasadim." The candle of God is the soul of man. What is the meaning of this verse? What does Shlomo Melech mean by this verse?
It lights up.
I don't know. Let's see what the Alter Rebbe says. We'll see what he says. What it means is that the soul of a Jew, who is called man, are by the way of illustration like a flame of a candle, whose nature is always to flicker upwards. In essence, when you talk about neshama a lot, but nobody knows what the neshama is. What is the neshama? You have a neshama. What is it? I don't know. It's a neshama, godly thing. What is it? Talk about this neshama. Can anybody can we bring a table with the neshama? Will the neshama? Will the neshama please appear? Will the neshama stand on the witness stand? We can talk. We can dissect it. Therefore, Shlomo Melech says, you want to have an analogy as a human being. You want to show and tell. You have to look at a candle. You look at a candle, you'll have an analogy to a neshama. So there's many. So in that statement alone of the Alter Rebbe, which brought us Kabbalah, there's many different interpretations to that alone. What is the neshama to the candle? What's the analogy to the neshama? Something that a candle is a physical thing. The neshama is a spiritual thing, so it's an analogy. When you have an analogy, you have to go to the rules of the analogy. Not everything is exactly like an analogy. It's a motto. And it's thus an analogy that we can have a comprehension, a little bit of a comprehension. Like we have a neshama, we keep on talking about neshama. So let's give an analogy to a physical thing. And you have that in Rashi. Rashi says, the Gemara says, the Torah talks Lashon Bnei Adam. The Torah talks like humans so that the person should understand. Like, you can't talk about spiritual things if you know what you're talking about. So we give you an analogy. Somebody will ask you in the future, what is it, a neshama? This is your analogy. King Solomon gives you an analogy. He tells you, look at a candle. A candle. So what is the main thing of the candle? You have a lot of things in this candle. You have the holder of the candle, vessel of the candle. You have the oil or whatever wax you have. You have the wick. All of those things are all there for one thing, for the flame, right? If you don't have the flame, you don't have a candle. You have the candle, but you don't have the flame. You don't have the purpose of the candle. So all the wax and all the wick and all the vessels all there, so that this little flame will burn, right? Flood. And the better the better the oil, the better the wick, the better the vessel, the nicer the flame is gonna be. The better the flame is gonna be, right? But that's the beautiful flame is the neshama. What is this flame? We're looking at a flame. We're talking about a simple candle. You look at the flame. You see the flame is always jumping, right? It's always moving, not like sitting there. Where's it moving? Where's it jumping? So it's always going upwards. That's the difference between fire and water. Flame always, you don't see the flame going downwards. You see the flame going upwards, right? See the candle, the little wick is always trying to, not the wick, the flame is always trying to jump upwards. That's in the neshama, trying to jump upwards. The neshama always wants to go higher, always wants to go to its source. So the flame instinctively seeks to be parted from the wick. The flame says, what do I need to have this wick? I want to go upwards. I want to go to my source. In order to unite with the source above, universal element of fire, which is a sublunar sphere. I want to go back to the sun, so to say, which is the source of fire. So I want to go back to the sun. This little flame that is flickering it always wants to go higher, wants to go to its source. As explained in Eitz Chaim, this is brought down in Kabbalah. Although it would nearby be extinguishable, it would be extinguished and omit no light at all below. So you tell the flame, why you gangster? Why relax? Why are you jumping?
You going?
Where are you going? So what do you mean? I'm going to the source of I'm going to my source. What do I need to be here? I want to go to my source. What's holding you back? This wick is holding me back. And if I'm consuming the oil, soon I'll get out of here. I'll go to my source. But wait a second, flame. The second you go to your source, you lose your identity. You lost your identity as a flame. What does the flame say? I don't care. I don't need this identity. I want the source. I want my source. I want where I come from. I want the sun. Its light would be nullified. Nevertheless, this is what it seeks according to its nature. Likewise, the man it is like the man does the neshama of man, including the ruach and the nefesh, naturally desires and yearns to separate itself and depart from the body. Your neshama wants to go higher. Your neshama wants to elevate itself. Stuck in this wick, the body. Stuck in the wick. That's why we thank God that God keeps it stuck in the wick. And it wants to unite with the origin of source, which is God in the analogy. The fountainhead of life, blessed be He, through thereby it will become null and void, completely losing its entity therein, and with nothing remaining of its former essence and being. Nevertheless, this is the will and the desire of the nature of the soul. Now we know that the soul does not lose its identity above, right? And how doesn't it lose its identity above? And that's the mitzvahs you do in this world. It keeps your identity above. It's the garment. That's why one of the reasons that the soul The mitzvahs are called garments of the soul. They garment you, they garment the soul, so that the soul will not lose its identity above.
They protect the soul.
They protect the soul. That's why every mitzvah you do, you have certain pleasures from in this world. Hakeren kayemis le'olam haba. What does it do, Elam Haba? It surrounds you in Elam Haba. Surrounds you in Gan Eden, that you are not lost. That you don't lose your identity. That's why the mitzvah you do is nitzchias, it's everlasting. It's everlasting in this world, it's everlasting in there forever. Right? Anything else, that's why it says, that's why there's the expression. Tov shem tov, mishtemen tov. That's King Solomon also said. Greater a good name than the best oil. Why? So the analogy again with oil. The analogy, because ultimately oil disappears. You put oil with a candle, the candle will consume all the oil. But the Shem and Tov, the good name, will never leave you. The good name that you acquired in this world, I mean, through the good actions, good deeds, will never ever leave you. It will never be consumed. Not in this world, and not in Gan Eden either. The mitzvahs you do here, the good name that you acquire here, that's what you're going to have in this world and in the world to come. But all the physicality that you acquired in this world is like oil, like physical oil. It will ultimately disappear, be consumed. It'll ultimately be consumed, either physically consumed or consumed in other things. It disappears. Disappears. That's why it's important by us to keep a name going, right? Person passes on. Hasta la vista. Yeah, have a good day. See you. I don't know when. That's it. How do you remember a person? How did the person remember? How many generations does the person remember? How many generations? You know, you have certain people that are remembered. You know, tzaddikim. We remember hundreds of years later. We still remember them. But how many people are that? Most people. You ask a person, were your great grandfather's better? They don't even know. What's his name? I don't know. Right? You have to have a family tree to know how many generations you go back, their names. Most of us don't even know. Good. 2 generations down, 3 generations down. Your name is forgotten, garnished. Like never happened. Like never was. That's what King David says. What is man? What is man that ultimately he's remembered? He's not remembered.
So sad.
It's sad. It's very sad. It is sad. Therefore, you had to realize. You had to realize that. Now it's a time. Because not only about yourself now, about the future. You want to remember now. What do you want to remember? So most people are remembered for the negative. Some people are remembered forever for the negative. And some people are remembered for the positive. And you have majority of people that are not remembered. 2 generations down, their great-grandchildren not really talked about anymore. It's gone. It was the right to get fun. That's why we try our best, right? We keep the name, etc. We give names of grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, keep the name going. But it's not an easy thing. And because if you're relying on somebody else to remember you, then it's going to be forgotten ultimately, watered down. The next generation is watered down. The next generation should be more watered down. You need to create a reality that you're remembered. The Eibishter remembers you. That's why it says Yiska Lakim. Hopefully the Eibishter remembers you. So therefore, what happens in a Shama comes Lamaila, he has no mitzvahs. He's in a Shama, but he gets consumed by God. He loses his identity. his name is lost, is gone. His stomach becomes part of it, of a greater reality, of a greater spiritual reality. The mitzvahs that you do create that the Eibishter remembers you. God remembers you to the mitzvahs you've done, and to the good deeds, to all the garments you've created in this world. And that's why the Mishnah says it's better one mitzvah in this world than all the world to come, because one mitzvah in this world creates an identity. The world to come is infinite, unlimited, and without identity, you're surely going to be lost in an infinite reality.
Only one mitzvah?
Even one mitzvah,
What do you
create
mean?
identity.
Can you define create an identity?
Yeah, no, I did this mitzvah. It's my mitzvah. I've
So
done this
to-
good deed. I've done it through my character.
So Hashem keeps the record.
That's it. So now this is his mitzvah. This is his character. This is look at it. He did the mitzvah in a certain way. Not in anywhere else can do the mitzvah that way. That's your identity.
With Hashem.
With the world, with Hashem, with everything, with everything. That's the so he created these garments so that you would wear the garment. And that's why every garment, every mitzvah is the same mitzvah. We're all doing the same mitzvah. But self-understood, just like physically, we all look different and we all have different sizes, 42, 50, whatever your size might be. Comes in a spiritual way, you have different sizes too. Right? So everybody uses out his machshah, his essence fitters. He uses it out to do this mitzvah, different garment, different clothes. In the world, everybody doesn't want to wear somebody else's clothes. Like one of the biggest avedas that a woman can do, wear somebody else. The other person has that dress, I can't wear it. That's for shalom. No. I have to have an original. Every mitzvah that you do is original. Nobody has worn that suit before. Nobody has worn this garment before. Nobody has worn this garment the way you wear this garment. Nobody has done the mitzvah the way you have done this mitzvah. Nobody. There's nobody in the world that has done the mitzvah the way you have done the mitzvah. Because you have done it with your character. You've done it with your nefesh habahamis. You've done it with your animalistic soul. So therefore it's unique. Unique. There's no other animalistic soul like my animalistic soul. I'm sorry. Nobody has my animalistic soul. I have a special one. And I do things different. I do my mitzvahs different. I wear the garment even though we're doing the same mitzvah. That's the beauty of the mitzvah. You see, the Eibishter gives a mitzvah and it gives billions of people to do the mitzvah in a different way. In any mitzvah you do, everybody does the mitzvah of tzedakah, and everybody does the mitzvah with a different kind of feeling, with a different kind of love, with a different kind of chesed, with a different kind of gevura. Everybody does this mitzvah differently. There's not one person who does it, well, not two people do tzedakah the same way. Even though they're both doing the same action, but you don't know what the feelings, what the thoughts, what the agenda is in their mind, that why they gave this tzedakah.
The highest level of giving tzedakah is not doing it for any reason.
100%.
Yeah.
But you're doing it, there's still a reason. I'm doing it because God asked me to do it. So that alone, there's many different feelings behind that. Because when we talk about God, everybody has a different feeling to what God is to him. So ultimately, still, and we do it a different way, Ava. Certainly, thousands and millions of ways of Ava, of love. What is Ava? What is Chesed? What is Ava? Every person has their own Chesed, has their own Ava, has their own love, has their own kindness, and every person has their own way to express it. And my expression is not your expression, your expression is mine. So nature is as applied in the term of anything that is not in the realm of reason and comprehension. When you say something, that's the nature of a thing. Most people think that's the human nature. This is a lion eats sheep. That's its nature. That's not the question. I asked you why. That's its nature. That's not an answer.
Hungry.
It's hungry. That's a better answer than that's its nature. It's hungry. Why don't you eat grass? You're hungry, eat grass. Why don't you turn to lion? So why are you eating sheep? Eat grass.
It wasn't programmed that way.
I was speaking yesterday
Sure.
about clothes. A lions don't wear clothes.
You know, beautiful mane, they don't.
They don't wear clothes.
You're gorgeous.
The sheep, they don't hug the sheep before. They don't like a loving.
No courting.
No, there's no courting. They don't eat the sheep. Have a good day. This is what I do, right? So a lion, he doesn't go, he's not like a human being that hugs you and then stabs you in the back. No, he sees a sheep. He's hungry. He goes and he says, he doesn't say hello, shalom aleichem. He goes and does what he does. That's nature is. That's it. His nature. And he's a that bad.
Introduce himself.
Doesn't introduce himself.
Oh,
Hello.
the lion.
I'm sorry what I'm doing. He goes and he eats the sheep. That's his nature. That's it. So that's why lions don't wear clothes, because not have to hide by anything. Humans wear clothes. They're hiding something. They're hiding something. When somebody says hello to you, you think, oh, why are you saying hello to me for? What is the agenda? Okay, here it comes. Please do something for me. Right. No, right. What's the agenda? What's the hello? Why suddenly you're saying hello to me? But the Gemara says that when I loan you money, right? If I never said hello to you in the morning, I can't start saying hello to you now. Right? Because what's the hello? Suddenly you're saying hello to me. Why? If someone is saying hello to you, why? I'm trying to remind you. Hello, you owe me money. Hello, how you doing? Is everything fine? Are you okay? Right? And suddenly I'm very worried about you. Because I need my loan back. So instead of saying, please give me my money, I suddenly am very interested in your health. Right? Because I know if you can be unhealthy, my loan might disappear. So I'm very interested to make sure that if you're not feeling I call you up, I even like tell you I have a good doctor for you. Because I need you alive. So it's not honest, it's not real. It's not real. It's not always that real. So so when you say, is that your true nature? Is that your true nature that you're so caring? What is it? Are you caring? Such a caring person? Suddenly you're saying hello? Suddenly, what is the reason? You didn't say hello to me yesterday. That's why I don't like to say hello to people. Because then they say, you said hello yesterday. Why did you say hello today? So you must be not happy today. You're not happy with me. I'm not saying hello to anybody. I'm just joking.
Hello. Yes, the hello. Got no under.
So that's the truth. So Chasidus says when you say hello, you really, that's your nature. A Jewish person, a human being's nature is to say hello. That he didn't say hello is not his nature. So his nature is to say hello. So why are you like judgmental to a guy if he says hello?
Underneath that surface. Yeah.
Nature.
So the Alter Rebbe says when you say something is that's the nature, then it applies to terms of anything that is not in the realm of reason. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's my nature. You can't ask the neshama why he wants to go above. That's its nature. That's the way God made it. You cannot say, you know what, we have Jewish guilt. Why? Because that's the nature. Your neshama wants better. That's its nature. Baruch Hashem. If your neshama lost its nature, it would be terrible. If our godly soul lost its nature to want to be godly, to want to be better, we would be terrible people. So thank God we have a neshama that doesn't let us live. I'm the wrong word. It doesn't let us fall into our evil tendencies. So in natural, the Eibishter created everybody good. When a person does something bad, that's not his nature. It's not his nature. Because a person naturally is good. He's a godly soul. He's naturally good. How can you have a godly soul and be not naturally good? It's not possible. It's impossible. Oh, but I know I have evil desires and I have negative. That's something that came to something else. That's something that came out of you. That came somebody told you that. Or you told yourself that. But that's not your nature. Here the Alter Rebbe, in essence, wants to tell every Jew that he should not look bad about himself. Firstly, to be able to come better in any kind of way, you have to look good on yourself. Because if you don't look good on yourself, then it's impossible. People can tell you you're good, and you're talking to the walls. Person has to feel that he's naturally good. But he's fallen into a rut. He has an animalistic soul. He has nefesh habahamis that's pushing him to do not good. He has certain things in his life that's pushing him to do not good. So he has to learn for this godly soul. What's a godly soul's nature? To go above. Your godly soul's nature is to be godly. Not only to be good, but to be better. Your neshama never is satisfied with goodness alone. Your neshama is never satisfied. Not in this world and not in the world to come. Moshe, there's no sleeping for you. That's it. Sleeping is over. No, that's it. The Rebbe said he opened up Tzidei Agudas Chabad when he said, I open up an organization that should not sleep and shouldn't let anybody else sleep. That's it. Sleeping is over.
Yeah, got it.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do. Can't sleep. There's work to do. We're in the middle of a war. We have to win this war. I can't sleep.
Against our evil inclination.
Against the inclination, against the world, against everything, against impurity. We cannot sleep. We have a lot of work to do. We gotta change ourselves. We gotta change the world. We gotta do it. How can you go to sleep? How can you go to sleep?
You won't be tired if you got work to do. They say something done good to a busy person.
So in our case, the Alter Rebbe says, the inference of this will and desire, the soul, are not within the realm of reason and knowledge. And intelligence can be grasped and understood, but beyond the grasp of conventional knowledge and intelligence. Because this nature stems from the faculty of Chachma found in the soul. You should be happy that you don't understand yourself. If we can bring the soul and put it on the table here and discern the soul, understand the soul, we're going to destroy the whole concept.
Beginner's mind.
We need to have a soul. We need to always realize that we can go better. If Chas Shalom, we would not have this concept in our life, that's between our nature to get better, we would never get better. Would never be a concept of tshuva. There would never be a concept of self-betterment. This world would never, ever become a better world. We have to believe in ourselves that it can be better. And if good is, like the Chassidim would say, if good is better, not better. So every day, yesterday's goodness has nothing to do with today. And today, all the goodness that you're going to do has nothing to do with tomorrow. Because in a neshama, you said in the morning, in neshama to be, in a neshama that you gave me today. What do I do with it today? What do I do with it today? How do I do better with this today? So if I'm stuck in my understanding, then yesterday is today. And the day before was today, the last month was today. It's all the same thing. It's never going to change. And your wisdom says, no, today's change. Today we're going to change. Today we're going to go to our true nature. We're not going to go to, we're going to go to something that's higher than what we thought yesterday was. We're going to our chachma. We're going to our wisdom. We're going to better. We're in abides, the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, blessed be in abides. Infinite, so it's infinite. In my wisdom abides Ein Sof, infinite light. So therefore my wisdom is infinite. Therefore it says, the Mishnah says, whoever says I've acquired wisdom doesn't know what wisdom is. Because wisdom is never ending. Is never ending to the concept of one's own wisdom. Not only the wisdom of the Torah, one's own wisdom.
Can't they just say, I acquired some wisdom?
Some wisdom.
So,
Some wisdom, but I've not packaged it. I've not acquired it I've completed the concept of wisdom. I can come to understanding. I can come to understanding. That's this way I understand it. You cannot, this way I understand it, and this is the way I understand it. I understand, and therefore, ultimately, understanding is the most important thing. Because everybody needs to understand it.
Understanding is self-understood.
To me, self-understood. To me, it might be not understood to you, but it's understood to me. And therefore, it becomes your understanding. And sometimes it's very hard to change your understanding. You're stuck in your understanding. This way I understand something, this the way I'm going to do it. And you hard for me to budge. Because I understand it. Therefore, understanding is important. Hopefully, you understand that you have to go deeper, but you have to understand it. Most people hear a lot of wisdom, they don't understand, and it never goes, and it just flies right through one ear and flies out the other ear. Because they didn't understand it, and that's fine. Understanding takes hard. Wisdom you can hear. Very easy. You can hear from somebody else's wisdom. You can even read wisdom. Question is, do you understand it? Do you comprehend it? Or it's dust? But once you comprehend it, in a way, you've corrupted the wisdom because you've limited the wisdom.
well, our brains are
So that's the way it is. You need to always go from understanding back to wisdom.
our brains are wired such that we seek confirmation of whatever it is we believe. So we take a belief and then we look for evidence that the belief is right. Doesn't mean it's right. It just means we're searching to support whatever this concept is, which is why there's a lot of nonsense going on in the world.
No, therefore you have the mitzvah of Ladas Hashem, to know God, understand God, at the same time to have emunah, faith. If you understand Him, you don't need faith.
But I want to know
Because there's I have to understand God to my understanding. But at the same moment, to realize that this understanding is limited. And therefore, I need to go to emunah. I need to go to faith, which is above understanding.
the words of the Rebbe thrown back in his face at times. It says the souls of the Gentile are about me.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
We say we're not me. We're you.
Right.
So don't those words get thrown back to him by saying, how can you say this? I mean,
No, because it's based on the Gemara, not based on the based on the Gemara says that the nations of the world created for the world. A whole different thing.
Nations
They're
of the world.
created for the purpose
For
of
their own
Lashavis Yitzhara, so that the world will be in existence. So that's why it's ultimately me. A Jewish soul was created to be a light to the world. So it's a different kind of a mission. It's a different kind of mission. It's a different kind of the me. The Abishta created them that way. You cannot change that.
I'm just saying, doesn't
All right.
that get them upset? It's like saying I'm a selfish. I'm
Well,
born selfish.
again,
I'm living my life selfish, and I'm leave me alone. I'm selfish. That's why
yeah.
this goes out.
Ultimately, that's his.
I know people who are
Yeah,
selfish and proud.
But not true, because ultimately the Alter Rebbe also there's always exception to the rule in any aspect. That's like ultimately a Jew who has a selfless soul, but he becomes very selfish. And a lot of selfish Jews. and you can find selfless non-Jews. You can find it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
So
that.
it's not. The Alter Rebbe is talking more general.
Yeah.
There's always definitely rules. There's always Hasidic Umas Ha'olam that are that go above themselves. That they have the capability to go above themselves and to be selfless people. So, and you find a lot of Jews that are very selfish. Even though they were created to be selfless, but they become very selfish, and self-centered. So it goes both ways.
Mhm.
And the Alter Rebbe is just saying that in general, if everybody would do their purpose in the world, that means the Yidden would elevate the world, and they would never be able to elevate the world if we didn't live in a stable world.
Mhm.
You cannot elevate a world that is unstable. So the nations of the world was given the concept of stability of the world, that the world's a stable world. That's why nations should not have war with other nations. And people should realize that they brought on the world to bring stability to the world and unity to the world in any way they can. And then you have the Jewish way to elevate the world in a more spiritual way. And if they both did their work, that's why we pray. They will come. They'll turn the what are we worried about?
Plowshare.
They'll turn the things into plowshare. The world will become stable. Then the Jew will be able to elevate the world. But if we live in a chaotic world, it's very, very hard for the Jew to elevate a world that is chaotic and fighting and strife and hatred. It's almost impossible for a Jew to do that. But who brought about ultimately the destruction of the Jewish revelation? The Goyim did that. The nations that were the Romans, the Babylonians. It's like they didn't want stability in the world either. They didn't want that. They wanted strife. They wanted war. That was the basis of world. What is the basis of world for thousands? It's all about wars. Power and wars, conquest of wars. Like the world is not big enough for everybody. Right? Everybody has to take over somebody else. Everybody has to conquer somebody else. That's the basic principle of the world till today, and it continues till today. This concept of the world being so selfish, instead of saying, well, it's a big world, let's work together. No, let's work how to, let's figure out how to destroy each other. And let's figure out how to kill each other. And that's what so the world does not
It could become mine.
the world does not become a world that the Yid could elevate the world. It's very difficult to elevate a world in a world of strife. So the Goyim are not doing their avodah. We're not here to do the world. We're not here for that. We cannot. We don't have the amount. We don't have the say, and the world is chaotic because the nations of the world are egotistical, selfish, self-centered individuals, including America too. And everybody is selfish, self-centered, and egotistical. Nobody's thinking about the bigger picture of making stability. I'm not talking about godliness and much stability to live in a normal world. That people are stable. No, therefore our avodah is to. But the problem is, in this chaotic world, who is the center of all this chaotic world? Is a Jew. Again, the Jew. The Jew. The land of Israel is the center of all this chaotic. Like if Israel would do this, then everybody in the world would put their guns down, and there would be peace and harmony in the world. To say, the truth is that they go both hand in hand. It's true. They're right. They're right. The Jew cannot accomplish what he's supposed to accomplish in the world. It is a chaotic world. It's a chaotic world that the Jew cannot accomplish what he's supposed to accomplish. It goes hand in hand.
Isn't the Israeli army trying to do that?
Yeah, but the world doesn't want to allow it. See, the world doesn't want to allow, right? They're allowed to do whatever they want. They can go kill whatever they want. But the Jew is not allowed to do that. He's just not allowed to do that. The world doesn't want it. What's your business? No, the world gets involved. The whole world gets involved in what's happening in this part of the world. And even though the whole world knows that that's evil, but they can't allow it. So you see that this war is such a spiritual war of Maila. It's above understanding this war. It's like it's a crazy world that we live in. Forget about the simple people in the streets that have no understanding what's going on. Even the leaders that might have some understanding still cannot get out of their own evil.
Get out of their own
What's
way.
this?
For the pitch for that we are.
Did you know about this?
Yeah, this was the thing.
What
Yeah.
is it?
I printed this a long time ago.
It was
It's
a
part of
thing.
the-
For the pitch.
Okay, everybody, have a wonderful, beautiful day. God bless you all. See you in Mitzvah. Come all to learn Chitas every morning. Learn some Tanya every morning, 8 a.m. Have a wonderful day.
April 5?
6.